What if I told you that 20% of your Google Ads budget is being wasted right now? I'm Ernő Horváth, CEO of Optimum Click, where we manage over 800,000 in monthly ad spend. After auditing hundreds of accounts, we've discovered that almost every business is leaving money on the table. In the next 12 to 15 minutes, I will show you our exact 10-step audit process that consistently uncovers these hidden inefficiencies. Whether you're an agency, an in-house marketer, or e-commerce brand preparing for 2025, this guide will help you to spend smarter and scale faster. So let's get started. Our audit process follows this strategic hierarchy, examining each component in order of impact. Number 1, conversion tracking verification. Number 2, content suitability settings. Number 3, campaign structure review. Number 4, keyword and ad group analysis. Number 5, audience data analysis. Number 6, performance trend analysis. Number 7, product level performance. Number 8, bidding and bid adjustment optimization. Number 9, landing page analysis. Number 10, change history review. So let's start with conversion tracking. Here are the common issues and solutions. The number 1 issue is double tracking. This is a huge issue, to be honest, and there are still accounts out there having this issue. So there are multiple purchase conversion actions set as primary, leads to inflated data. For example, native tracking plus Google Analytics import. This is quite common actually, or there are just 2 native codes. Why not? Like in this image. So if you see a conversion called purchase and another one called transaction, and both are primary and with a 10 to 20% difference, most likely there's a double tracking issue. The worst possible scenario is to double track the purchase events, since it can overstate ROAS by up to 100%. It is also highly recommended to implement enhanced measurement tracking. So here is a very quick solution. Navigate to conversions, settings, and ensure only one purchase plus transaction conversion action is set to primary, and set others to secondary, or remove the duplicates. If you import goals from GA4 instead of using a native tracking, either on client or server side, that's usually an issue, because using Google Analytics for purchase tracking, you can miss up to 20% of the conversions. Here you can see this image that we created, where the conversion tracking from GA4 was secondary, and you can see the difference between the GA4 number of conversions and what the server side GTM container actually could capture. Also, I have a video about it, comparing all the tracking methods. I would highly recommend to watch that as well. It's important to have micro conversions imported into Google Ads. However, most of those should be secondary metrics, so add to cart, page view, whatever. Set as the primary conversion for a shorter period of time, for example, when you are building up a campaign to have enough conversion data in it. But once you have enough conversion data, you need to switch those micro conversions to secondary. I must note here that you cannot fully do a conversion tracking audit from the Google Ads account. You can only pinpoint on the most obvious issues, but for a full-scale conversion tracking audit, you need to see exactly what's happening in GA4, what triggers are there in the GTM, etc. So that alone can be a half an hour longer video, so that's why I'm not covering it into further details in this video. Also, you need to check the UTM parameters. Check them at ad and campaign level as well. If you copy-pasted the campaign, or you don't know who copy-pasted the campaigns before, then there might be 2 campaigns using the same UTM parameter, which is not very good. Also, sometimes I see inconsistencies in UTM tracking. So for example, in the naming policy, one ad group is using PPC, the other is using ads. So that's also not really good. So that's it about conversion tracking. Let's move to content suitability settings. So it's in tools, settings, content suitability, and there are about 5 to 10% inefficiency just alone in this area of your account, depending on how many performance max campaign are you using or display campaigns, etc. So here are the most common optimization techniques. You need to disable the default app category placements. This reduces wasted spend on low quality traffic. You need to exclude live stream videos. Viewers rarely leave the streams. Also, you potentially can remove below the default display placement. This is a so you might can leave it on if you wanting to scale your account. Also, you can experimenting switching off and see how it impacts your campaign. Also, I would highly recommend to remove park domains. They are more likely used in traffic arbitrage. So obviously you want to avoid being there. Number 3 is campaign structure review. The most important campaign structure setting is the brand, non-brand segmentation. Can you tell from the account easily how much they spend on cold or warm traffic and what the ROAS and CPA is segmented by those? If your brand terms are all over the place in every campaign, you basically just couldn't. So that's a very bad practice. Check for your search campaigns, mostly because they are most prone to having this issue. Also, Performance Max usually likes to go for branded traffic, so I will cover Performance Max just a little bit later. But also it's very common that there are campaigns with 1 to 2% of the budget generating a few conversions per month, especially if they are running on an automated bidding strategy. I will share a bit more information about bidding and bidding strategy later in this video, but for campaigns generating 1-2 conversions a month, what data or insights would you like to get out of that campaign? It's basically there is no data or insights in that. So no real value in such a. Let's talk a little bit about Performance Max. So ideally it's segmented by brand and non-brand as well. If you don't have enough conversions to separate them, treat PMax as a brand campaign or mix, but mostly it's a brand. But definitely you shouldn't treat PMax as a non-brand or core traffic campaign. A common issue with PMax campaign is that people don't use search themes or audience signals in them, or it's just not segmented enough with the assets and everything is just put into one asset group. If you had multiple PMax campaigns, at least segment them by brand, non-brand, and just split the non-brand PMax campaigns into further campaigns. If you have a small account, be aware that PMax only works well if it has enough conversions, or PMax campaigns altogether have enough conversions. So everything under 30 conversions for 30 days won't be enough for proper PMax functionality. That's when you need to use your secondary conversions as primary for a short period of time. Also, within PMax, we need to talk about the landing page exclusion part. So PMax can broaden your targeting beyond the feed and select any other page on your website, including the blog. You can exclude the underperforming product pages within the landing page report to optimize the spend. So, for example, blog articles, size guides, FAQ pages, contact pages and policy pages, or even underperforming product pages. Even though Performance Max is really good, I usually use standard shopping. If you spend over 30-40k per month, standard shopping would make sense, but only if you use the waterfall principle or query sculpting. You can learn more about in this video, I would highly recommend to having a kind of like fallback standard shopping campaign. Why I call it fallback? Because if you have a search query that are important to your business and for some reason the PMAX decides not to bid high enough, but you still want to be there, then you need to set up a standard shopping campaign to capture those clicks. If you have a decent budget, for example, having an account with 30-40k per month spend, you also like to see further campaigns in your account such as demand gen or DSA. Location/device targeting are also important. 99% of the time, the presence location targeting is what you are aiming for. Make sure you select the right locations. Some brands we work with don't ship, for example, to Alaska or Hawaii, so we need to exclude those states. But also I've seen accounts clicks from Turkey or Africa some days because of bad location settings. Well, obviously those are intended to target the US, not Turkey or Africa. So we also need to talk about ad extensions as well. The more the merrier, but make sure they are leading people to the correct pages. You need to use different ones for different campaigns. For example, if you have a men's shoes, you should show the shoe styles. If you have a campaign that you're targeting coats, I would highly recommend that your site links are leading people to different coat types. What you want to avoid is that showing the shoe styles next to the coat ads, so that's not really a good practice. We need to talk about auto-apply recommendations as well. Almost every PPC expert you speak to recommend you to switch off all the auto-apply recommendations. There are a few which do no harm, but most of them can cause serious trouble, like switching your remarketing campaigns into a mixed remarketing prospecting one and diluting the audience with lookalike ones. So the issue here is that you intended to have a certain budget message for the people who already know your brand. And if, for example, optimized targeting is on, Google will show your ad to cold audiences. I will have a video about this later, but at this point, keep all auto-apply recommendation unticked. Number 4 on the list is keywords and ad groups. Your non-branded search campaigns should be segmented by product categories. Even though you are selling tea or probiotics or supplements, you most likely have at least 2-3 categories. If you see your keywords are dumped into just one ad group with the name of ad group 1, that's a very bad sign of account management. Even though a lot of people are focusing on PMAX for e-commerce brands, but I would still highly recommend to review the search term report to identify how high cost, low converting queries. For example, a query like luxury handbags discount might trigger ads for premium brand, leading to poor ROI. Add such terms as negatives or create tailored ad groups for discount-focused audiences. Or if you are not selling extra large shoes, it would make sense to add extra large to the negative keyword list as well. We manage a lot of supplement campaigns in the US, and it's very large market with fierce competition. So if someone is looking for a punch flavor and you don't have a punch flavor, well, guess what? There will be 5 other brands selling punch flavors. So you probably want to exclude punch. Or a very similar situation, if you have a liquid supplement and someone is looking for capsules, the chance of conversion is really small, to be honest, because there will be 5 other brands selling capsules. So there was a reason the user added capsules to their search term, because that's what they intend to buy. Reviewing the search terms are really important for e-commerce brand, but also it's advisable to review your negative keywords from time to time. Probably you didn't have a pink dress 6 months ago, but now you are selling those. But the word pink is probably sitting in your negative keyword list. So you might be losing potential conversions if you are not revising your negative keyword lists as well. I'd like to talk a little bit about the ad group relevance as well. So ensure ad groups containing tightly themed keywords, so ideally under 20 per ad group, paired with a specific ad copy. For instance, an ad group targeting running shoes for flat feet should exclude generic terms like sneakers and other way around. Number 5 on the list is audience and data management. Customer list integration, for example, with Klaviyo or any other software, is highly recommended. You need to upload the purchasers, the non-purchasers email list as well. You can create custom segments for high intent users. Once you're done with the most important 2 or 3 lists, you need to add further segments, for example, web purchasers, mostly for exclusion, visitors who added to cart something but don't purchase, basically abandoned cart targeting, visitors that spend X amount of time on your website or visited X amount of pages. Also, you can experiment with custom intent audiences. Besides checking if those audiences are present, it's essential to know that they are actually being used, so added or excluded accordingly. Also, you need to check if those audiences are populating at all. The list is not zero or very small compared to how large those audiences should be. As you can see in this example, there is a quite decent size of an audience. Number 6 on our list is performance trend analysis. This is a tricky one. When we audit accounts, we usually check the latest 90 days. Last 30 days can be misleading, and I will tell you why. Attribution. According to our measures, because of the attribution delay, if you check the latest 30 days, you see a lot of clicks, but many of those people haven't bought the product yet. When they buy it, the revenue will be distributed between each clicks that led to the purchase. So here's a little experiment. Check your revenue now for the last 30 days and make a note in your calendar. Then 30 days from now, set the timer and set the time frame for the very same range and compare the revenue with the one you noted down today. I guarantee you there will be about a 10 to 20% difference. This is because of attribution. So that's why we never check the last 30 days, because it's always reporting raw values. So get back to where I was. Check the latest 90 days versus the previous 90 days, and also check the latest 90 days versus the same period a year ago. To really see trends, it's not always enough to check the latest 90 days compared to the previous period because of Christmas, Valentine's Day, and all can highly alter your performance metrics. And there is no reason to compare Christmas period with the period that comes after. Some businesses see improvement, but most businesses see a decline after Christmas. So this is a campaign not managed by us. The last 90 days versus the previous 90 days. So obviously there were Christmas and Black Friday as well, which slightly altered the way how the conversions and how the account went. That's why I recommend to check what happened a year ago as well, and not just the latest results. Because if you check now, you will see that they spend about, so for example, here you can see that after the Christmas period, they spent more to get less. So the conversion value / cost declined by around 30%. So that can be, well, this is just because of the end of the Christmas period, but actually if you check the very same account versus a year ago, then you will make sure this is unfortunately not just that trend, because the same time a year ago they also performed much better. So you can see that they spent 80% more to get 44% more revenue. Obviously, there is always a diminishing return when you spend more, but I think this is worse than what you would expect. So metrics that you can check, well, obviously ROI, CTR, impression, both at the account and campaign level. Number 7 is product level performance. When auditing your Google Ads account, analyzing product level performance is important, particularly within Performance Max or shopping campaigns. So here is what you should check. Check product level to identify limited performance or eligibility issues, for example, missing GTIN. See whether particular products are performing well while others aren't. Check that spend is going to products that convert well. It's important to ensure that all the spend isn't going to a product that does not convert well. In some cases, you can even exclude some products from targeting, forcing Google to spend more on products that make money. However, a better approach would be to see if it's a landing page issue, a price point issue, or something else. I really don't like when people just go into the account and make changes based on what they see in the account and not considering that might be another issue that's outside the account, for example, landing page or price point. So sometimes there is an underlying issue which is not related to Google Ads. If no spend goes to certain products, you might want to split them into a different campaign to test them. This is an important one. I see that many times Google picks products and spins those, but never tries the rest. So giving a set budget to these never tried products might lead to finding some gems that give you a good return. Number 8 is bidding, bid adjustments, and optimization. There are some huge red flags regarding bidding strategies. For example, using max clicks with broad keywords. It's very rare, but I have seen a few accounts. If we want to use max clicks, then add every keyword as exact match. As I mentioned earlier, when I see a campaign with a small budget and a few conversions using an automated bidding strategy, I know that campaign is underperforming. The general rule of thumb is you need at least 30 conversions per 30 days to be able to use an automated bidding strategy effectively. There are some other tricks. For example, if you are using target CPA, you should use from the portfolio bid strategies, because then you can limit the CPC. Without it, Google will happily bring you clicks that cost twice as much as your target CPA. Why? I don't know, but this is the reality. Also, you need to make sure that you are using the bidding strategies right. So, for example, here you can see the status is limited by budget. So Google actually flagged this campaign. Again, it's not managed by us. So the target CPA in this campaign was set to $25. Meanwhile, the actual cost per conversion is $15. So you need to check if the campaigns are reached your goal, because if it reached their goal or surpassed the goal you gave them, that's basically your bad settings are limiting the campaigns to perform better. Bid adjustments are really only relevant within search and shopping campaigns and not Performance Max campaigns. Performance Max will handle bid adjustments automatically. Technically, Google doesn't consider bid adjustment you set when the bidding strategy is automated, but we saw that sometimes it slightly does. So it's more like a signal to Google Ads, not an exact limit. For most campaigns, you will be able to see the demographics data, audience segments, age range, and devices. So automated bidding will still respect exclusions. So for example, you exclude the 18 to 24 age range, or if you target a younger audience, you need to exclude the 65 plus age range. Segments can also be helpful if you are selecting to observe different segments, then you will be able to see how well each of them is performing. You can also instruct Google to bid more or less for certain segments, which will optimize your spend. Number 9 is landing page analysis. A large part of the success of a Google Ads campaign falls outside of the actual settings in the Google Ads account. We always check the landing page as well as part of the Google Ads audit, at least the top ones. Are the ad groups using the relevant landing pages? Is the offer on the landing page the same as in the ad text? Is the landing page optimized for mobile? Well, 80% of the traffic right now is mobile, so it should be. Also, what is the page speed score for desktop and mobile? This is one of the landing pages personally I like. It's Mudwater. So you should go out and check that one. I think all the information that needs to be there are there. So if you want to have some ideas, then just go there and see what those guys are doing. Remember, if you improve the conversion rate on the landing pages by 20%, your campaign's performance will improve by 20% as well. And you haven't even touched any settings within your account. People tend to forget the very basic concept of Google Ads. Keywords, ad text, landing page should be matched. The number 10 and our last point today is the change history analysis. It tells a lot about the style of how your account is managed. Most accounts don't need daily adjustments. If you see frequent strategy changes, for example, weekly or goal changes, for example, ROAS 300 to 350 on Monday and back to 300 on Wednesday, that's not a good sign. This is not how it should be done. Also, if you scroll through the changes and you don't see other changes beside target ROAS, target CPA up and down, budget up and down, that's not a good sign either, because ad text should be changed, promotion extensions should be changed as well. So there are a lot of other things that needs to be handled in your account. And if you're seeing just those are moving, the account not managed by best practices. Also, it's not a very good sign if you cannot see any change for like 2 weeks. No matter how small the account is, there should be at least some negative keywords, some big changes within 2 weeks period, excluding the changes that made by automations. Okay, so almost in every account we audited, we found about 20% inefficiency. So either you could have spent about 20% less and gotten the very same results, or you could be just spending the very same amount but generating 20% more sales. Not to mention that more accurate tracking and data would lead to even better insights in the long run. If you are unsure about your account, we at Optimum Click are happy to help you to do an audit on yours. Use the link below to visit our website and submit the form for an account audit, and we will get back to you in 48 hours. We need about 4 to 7 days to do a thorough audit in your Google Ads account. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, it costs you nothing.